Welcome to another edition of Dan Frequently Asked Questions. In this edition, we'll be addressing the issue of breast cancer and diving. Keep watching. We got a question from a diver who had suffered breast cancer and had chemoradiation as well as surgery. And then subsequently, during genetic testing, it was discovered that they had the BRCA gene. Now, the BRCA gene essentially is an oncogene or a cancer-promoting gene in a simplistic terminology, which predisposes a person to get cancer in the other breast to the extent of about 80%. And this individual followed the recommendation of having a preventative mastectomy or breast removal on the other side. They subsequently had tissue expanders, or essentially breast implants placed, and they wanted to know whether they could return to diving. I'd like to take a step back first and just address the issue of the cancer and its treatment. If it is felt by the oncologist that the cancer is in remission, that takes that off the table to a large extent. However, the treatment that was given, both the radiotherapy and the chemotherapy, may have potential implications as far as diving is concerned. Significant radiation of the chest may result in scarring that may have an impact on the function of the lungs, whereas some of the chemotherapy agents, notably bleomycin, which is not necessarily used with breast cancer, but doxorubicin or adriamycin, which can affect the strength of the heart muscle and may affect a person's ability to exercise. This needs to be taken into account, and also some of the brain fog and some of the subtle cognitive changes that some women have reported following chemotherapy. This needs to be weighed up in terms of whether it would be sensible to dive or not, and the recommendations of the oncologist and the diving physician should be adhered to. As far as the implants are concerned, as long as the wounds have healed after placement of the implants are not particularly vulnerable to the pressures associated with typical recreational diving, which, let's say, is up to 6 atmospheres. Under those conditions, we've actually physically taken implants that weren't implanted. In other words, they were just the actual implant, and put them in a chamber, took them to 50 meters, left them there for 2 hours, surfaced them with explosive decompression, and there was all but a trivial amount of bubbling, which would have resolved very, very quickly and wouldn't cause a sloshing or any other dysfunction or bursting or anything else that one might be concerned about. So the general consensus is that implants as such do not pose any risk as far as diving is concerned, with the exception, of course, being trauma. So if you were to do backward roll from a boat and someone fell on top of you with a cylinder on top of a breast implant, well, then it could burst. But that could happen with a fall or any other form of contact sport, or essentially a blunt force event related to the chest. So no, diving does not pose a particular risk as far as that's concerned. So in summary, please get the recommendations of your oncologist. Make sure that the diving physician assesses whether the radiation or the chemotherapy might be an issue, whether your fitness has recovered, your cognitive function is back to normal, and of course the wounds related to the reconstructive surgery and breast implants have stabilized. And with that, I hope that you will be able to return to diving, and if you do so, please do so safely. Until next time, to all of you, safe diving.